Hi everyone, I hope everyone's had a great week. I kind of felt like this project was really interesting, kind of seeing how technology has factored into all of our lives. Um, my title slide is Growing Up a Digital Native because of the concept between the digital native and the digital immigrant. The digital native being someone who has always grown up with technology. Technology is second nature to them, whereas the immigrant has to learn the ways and customs of the technology. Showing my age, I've grown up as a digital native. Computers have always been a part of my life from very early on. Um, if we look at my next slide, my preschool and elementary school years were very full of technology. My dad is a computer engineer, so there's always been computers in my house, computer parts, floppy disks, the like. Everything has always been around. Um, when I was really young, he worked at Disney, and in the company store, he'd get me things like this read along CD or cassette rather, where the story would play as you read along in the book, and I always found those really interesting. Um, and since we always had technology, around the house, we were one of the first families that I knew that had a CD player in the house. So I have my a picture here of my very first CD, the soundtrack to Aladdin. We also had, my dad had this Sony Sports Walkman, which I would occasionally borrow to listen to my read along tapes or whatever other music. And this one was particularly cool because on certain frequencies you could pick up TV stations and listen to programs that way. Um, Carmen Sandiego was like one of my favorite things to play. This is a picture of our first computer. And, I remember seeing like the boot up screen of DOS before the whole Windows interface really became part of our everyday lives. Our first VCR, we had a color printer, my dad had a flip phone, we had AOL as soon as it was available for public consumption, and before that, we had access to the bulletin boards online. It's the first boombox that I ever got, a Christmas present for third grade, but it was totally the deal. Moving into middle school, technology was just still a huge part of my life. I had access to the Encarta encyclopedia. Um, my dad had moved on from the flip phone to this indestructible Nokia, which got soaked on many a field trip, but still kept ticking. It's my first introduction into PowerPoint, which has continued to be a recurring feature in my life. Dial-up internet, the whole that we had to listen to whenever we try to get online. Microsoft Works is what we used to use at school in our computer lab as we were learning how to use all those different programming softwares. I have a picture here of my local library because when I was in middle school, they transitioned from more of a card catalog system to an online searchable database. So if I wanted to find something for a project I was working on for school, I could go to the library and use the computer to search the library database, place holds, request books, that sort of thing. Um, in high school, technology really started to become part of what we were doing every day. I have a picture of CNN.com from the day of 9/11. We saw that happening in real time on TV and on the internet, which was kind of a defining moment for my generation. I have another cell phone as things are starting to progress in technology, and this phone was actually able to be used internationally. So I was able to use it over in Europe to call home. Um, I have a picture here of the Zanga logo, one of the first blogging websites that was really easy to use for teenagers and young adults, and I had a Zanga. I have a picture of FLVS, Florida Virtual School. I took 2 classes online in high school during this time period where FLVS was really just starting to get off the ground, and now online classes are not so much of a novelty. I have a picture here of CDRs, and instead of making mixtapes, we would burn CDs for each other and copy CDs for each other. I have a DVD player because we started moving away from VHS and towards DVDs and the special features and all the other things that you could do with them. I have a picture here of one of the first digital cameras that we had in my family. My mom was always taking pictures, and it got a lot more economical with the digital camera. In college and grad school, as you can see, I've got one of the computers that I had. Facebook really started picking up speed when I was a freshman in college. So when I got my Facebook account, I had an all-in-one printer where I could do all sorts of things from the convenience of my dorm room. Pandora Internet Radio started when I was a junior in college, and I have some Pandora stations that are as old as Pandora's been around. I still use Pandora every day. Um, I went from having a Razor towards the beginning of this period to my first smartphone, which was awesome because doing grad school online, I was able to use my smartphone to access Blackboard and see what I needed to do. I have a picture here of one of the landing pages for EBSCOhost, where we look for our journal articles for all of our research, and you can't leave out Google. Currently, I use Netflix pretty regularly. I even use it in the classroom, finding Disney movies and putting the Spanish audio on them for my students. BuzzFeed and their listicles, list articles that they have. One of the computers that I have presently, the Surface, that lets me take school wherever I am. A tablet that I like to read books on and just surf the net. And Google for Education, we got access to Google Classroom this year, and it's been really interesting to see how that affects what we're doing in the classroom, everything that we're able to make available online. So really, technology, the internet, it's just been a part of my whole experience today, and I can't remember not having it. So it's going to be interesting to see how it affects the kids that I'm teaching right now who have never known a world without texting, which I can remember when we actually had to talk to people instead of texting them. So it's going to be interesting to see how, as Carr states, this is affecting how our brains work, and I'm interested in seeing how that works out to our kids. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and have a great weekend.